Before we start the show, let's hear from one of our sponsors. Their support keeps this show free for you. Don't you wish we could scoop up all the electronics in our house and just throw them in the garbage? Are you sick of fighting with your kids about how long and how much? And no, you can't have social media. And no, we're not going to watch our show for 7 hours a day. Electronics are the bane of our existence. But how can we cohabitate with electronics? I have created an event. It's called Plugged In Parenting. And I'm going to be meeting with folks April 29th and 30th for an hour each day at noon to discuss how we can live with electronics in our children without completely indulging them and also without being completely restrictive. Join me for this 2-day event. I can't wait to see you there. Hi, I'm Michelle, a mother of 2 teens. 13 years ago, I traded in punishments and rewards for connection. Now I prioritize relationship over behaviors, utilize play as a parenting tool, and set limits with empathy instead of consequences. Each week, I share my journey and interview clients, experts, and followers. Thanks for joining me on the Peace and Parenting podcast. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the Peace and Parenting podcast. I'm Michelle, and I'm here with the lovely guest, Miriam, who has a parenting question. So Miriam, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Miriam, and I live in Washington State. I have twin two-year-old boys, but they'll be 3 on Friday.
Oh my gosh. Okay, amazing. And you're going to ask a question about sibling stuff. Tell us.
Yeah. So lately there's been a lot of fighting over toys or you name it. It could be about really anything. Food. Things tend to escalate quickly. So they'll be playing really well together. And then all of a sudden the screaming starts. Someone is getting hair pulled. There's crying. They come to me.
Of course.
And I'm just a little confused of how to handle it. Right now I'm handling it where I'm kind of the referee, do some teaching, setting limits, but then I'm also a little worried about whoever the one is that feels they're in trouble or is in trouble. I want to make sure that I'm tending to both of their needs, which can be hard when there's big stuff coming up.
It's really hard because we don't want to see our lovely babies hurting each other.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you have a sibling growing up?
2. Yeah. I had a younger sister and younger brother. We actually fought quite a bit, especially my sister and I. Now we get along great. But I do remember growing up, my mom would just say, like, it hurts my stomach and my heart when you guys fight, because it did. And now I can see it. Like I know what she was talking about.
It does. It's hurtful. And then our own relationship with our siblings from our childhood can get kicked up too.
Yes.
And affect the way in which we're reacting. So, just keeping that in mind too, like, one, also, it's totally normal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know that we think, oh my gosh, this is terrible. They're going to hate each other. I'm, creating kids who are going to fight all the time. And just to know that, like, I don't know one set of siblings that doesn't fight.
Yeah. That's reassuring.
Yeah. They fight. And it's okay. Mine still fight. And every developmental stage is different and the fights change. And, one kid might be the victim now and they might be the villain later. Like, you don't know especially twins too, because they're so close and they're probably best of friends and can be worst of enemies. Mm-hmm. And so just know that it's normal, and the calmer we can be, the better off we have, a better chance we have of like helping them get through it. So that's the first thing. I would try to stay as calm as you can, even though it's really, really hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really hard. And they'll be okay. They will be okay.
Okay.
The second thing I'd say is that because they're so little and because do they go to physical, like hitting each other and that kind of thing?
When they were really little, they were biting a lot. They aren't biting anymore. It's more pushing, shoving, and hair pulling.
Okay. Oh my goodness, little baby boys pulling each other's hair. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I would, if that's the case, if they're getting to, being aggressive, I would As soon as you hear anything go on, as soon as you hear just the tone of voice change, as soon as you notice, someone said something snarky, I would get in there right away.
Okay.
Because by the time we get in when they're like crazy, pulling each other's hair, prefrontal's already offline, they're not functioning well, it's really hard to get them back down.
Okay.
So I'd come in right away to avoid getting all the way to hair pulling. You still might get to hair pulling anyway, but it might decrease your chances by, who knows, 50, 60%, then that would be good.
Okay.
Is there one kid that is more of the perpetrator?
It kind of goes back and forth.
Okay.
It's pretty balanced.
Okay, that's good. Well, with twins, that probably is more the case, I would think, than with kids who are not twins, because there's some inequities when there's an age gap.
Yeah.
There's not as many inequities here. Okay, this is good. So yeah, I would come in and I wouldn't always go to the child who's hurt.
Okay.
I maybe for a minute here, just go to the child who's not hurt.
Yeah.
Or go to the child who's could be considered the perpetrator or the villain.
Okay.
Go to that person first and say, what happened here?
Yeah.
What's going on? Even though you might know, and even though you don't, I'm sure you care, but it's not like you don't really need to know the sequence of events. You don't really need to know what happened, because we're not going to try to figure out who's wrong and figure out who's right.
Okay.
That we don't care in that respect, because sometimes child A is right and sometimes child B is right. And sometimes things go behind the scenes that we know nothing about. Sometimes there's retaliation, and we don't really need to assign blame in sibling relationships.
I like that.
Now,
I like that a lot.
I say that, but doing it is hard. And when I see Esme being mean to her sister, the first thing I want to say is, don't be mean to your sister. What are you doing? And I still get caught up years and years later wanting to blame her, because it gets so igniting for us. And it's hard to let go of that idea. Like, maybe even if they did pull their brother's hair, they're not wrong.
Yeah.
Or does it matter? Do I need to pass judgment?
Yeah.
So trying to get to that neutral place, even when they're being physically aggressive, is not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to get in here a little bit and find that piece that nobody's to blame.
I like that a lot. Thank you.
Yeah. Then when you say, okay, child A, the one who's seemingly the aggressor, but we never really know, right? We don't know the whole story. What happened? And they're going to say, he took my Lego and I wanted it. And so I pulled his hair. And you can say, oh my goodness, you guys are struggling here. This is really hard. Okay, I hear you. He took your Lego. You pulled his hair. Oh my gosh. But not saying, don't pull your brother's hair. We're not supposed to do that. That's unkind. Don't reprimand him in the moment.
Okay.
He knows he's not supposed to pull his brother's hair. He's probably been told 7,000 times. They know right from wrong at 3. They definitely do, for the most part. For the big stuff, they know. They know they're not supposed to bite. They know they're not supposed to kick and hit and do these kinds of things. They don't do it because they're bad or they don't know. They're just offline. Their prefrontal, their thinking brain is totally offline. And so they make bad decisions. And they have really low impulse control at 3. So they're like, you took my Lego, that's it. I'm pulling your hair. That's just how it's going to go down. That's it. It's very simple.
Yeah. Yep.
And they're usually at 3 very logical. Like, there's a reason why they're doing things. They can tell you. And it's like, I get it. If my friend took my Lego at 3, I might pull their hair too. So then after you finish with child A, you go to child B. Child B, what happened? I took his Lego and he pulled my hair. And usually 3-year-olds are pretty honest about it. And if they don't have the threat of a punishment or a consequence or a reprimand, they are going to be more honest.
Okay.
So I don't know, are you using any of those things?
Sometimes if I walk in and let's say Jack has pulled David's hair, David's crying, David's telling me Jack pulled my hair, I immediately instinctually go to whoever's hurt and injured. And then I look at Jack and I'm like, what's happening? And he'll just say, I pulled his hair. But I think where I am messing up is I'm saying like, we don't pull hair or your brother's hurt. And I think it's that summarizing the situation that I could do a lot better.
And maybe it's just validating their feeling.
Yes.
Right? Oh, he pulled your hair. That's hard. And
Yes.
not saying to Jack, you pulled his hair. What are you doing? Because that's when the shame comes in. And they already have shame. They don't want to hurt their brother.
Yeah.
And so they already have this internal shame and guilt that's already pre-existing. And we don't need to add extra.
Yeah, that's such a good point.
We are going to take a short break from our show to hear from our sponsors. Without their sponsorship, I wouldn't be able to bring you the Peace and Parenting podcast free of charge. So I'll see you back in just a few minutes. If you're a parent, you get it. There isn't time to research every single product you use in your home. That's why you need Blue Land. They're certified, safe, and clean by the EPA. And they get the job done without worrying about the impact they're having on your family, your children, or on you. Blue Land is on a mission to eliminate single-use plastic by reinventing cleaning essentials to be better for you and the planet with the same powerful clean you're used to. Just fill your reusable bottles with water, drop in the tablets, and wait for them to dissolve. You'll never have to grab bulky cleaning supplies on your grocery run. I'm always running out of room for extra bottles, and this makes things so much easier. Plus, Blue Land products are effective and affordable with refill tablets starting at just $2.25. Blue Land products are independently tested to perform alongside major brands and are free from dyes, bleach, and harsh chemicals. And Blue Land is trusted by over 1 million homes, including mine. Celebrate Earth Month and make the switch today. Get 15% off your first order by going to blueland.com/peace. You won't want to miss this. blueland.com/peace for 15% off. Are you a mom who feels like you're juggling it all, but something just feels off? It could also be your hormones causing this chaos. Hormone Harmony contains science-backed herbal extracts called adaptogens. Now, here's the beauty of adaptogens. They help the body adapt to any stressors like chaotic hormonal changes that happen naturally throughout a woman's life. That's why Hormone Harmony is perfect for women of all ages who are struggling with life-disrupting symptoms such as PMS, like irritability, moodiness, discomfort, or uncontrollable cravings, and menopause with symptoms like hot flashes and night sweats. The results are impressive. There are over 40,000 reviews on their website. Women cannot stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. So for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code PEACE. Check out happymammoth.com. Use the code PEACE for 15% off today. Thanks for supporting our sponsors. Now back to the show. And I think if it happens over and over and over and it's happening a lot, then it's like, it's not a big deal, but it's like a little tiny bit of shame here and then a little tiny bit of shame there and then here and then there and then this and then that. And then we're exacerbating the sibling rivalry because every time they get the shame, they're mad at their brother because their brother got them in trouble.
Yes.
Even if there's not a punishment, there's a lecture of some sort or like a pointing out of wrongdoing.
Yeah.
Now, later on, when everyone's happy and everything's going on, you can say to them, guys, what's the rule in the house around pulling hair?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't do that. Just making sure we all know. But, the next day or hours later or totally removed from this shame-filled event.
Okay.
And we don't always have to say it. And when we do say it, if we're correcting in that way, we really have to say to ourselves, like, do these kids know this? Or am I just doing it because I think it's my job?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they might not know at 3 everything. But if you think they know it, I wouldn't revisit it. If you think it's like, oh, they might not know that, whatever, then saying something to the whole group is good.
Okay. I like that too.
Then you go to child B. What happened? He's going to say, pull the hair and you empathize. Oh my gosh, he did? Oh, wow. You guys are struggling here. Well, what can we do as a group, gentlemen, so this doesn't happen again? Now they're little. They might not be able to fully voice what we should do, but they might also surprise you.
Yeah, that's great. I like that.
So just like getting it back to them, they need to start problem solving their own issues. And if you do this 3 million times, then they will eventually get it.
Yeah.
Now, I say that and I have the 16-year-old and the 19-year-old who still fight.
Yeah.
But they figure it out more without me. I don't have to get involved as much, even though sometimes I'm like, sitting here like, oh, are they mean? Are they nice? Are they whatever? But I have pulled back. So as they get older, you pull back more and more and more. Right now, you've got to be kind of real involved.
Yeah.
Because if we let them, well, not so much with twins, but usually the bigger, stronger child will win.
Oh, yeah.
And so then that becomes a pattern if you leave them to their own devices.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. But with twins, it might be more measured, but either way, we don't want them to hurt each other's feelings either.
Yeah.
Okay. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Okay, good. So another thing that's really helpful in all this work too is like keeping up on connection.
Yes.
So what connection pieces are you using or?
Yeah, so they are in separate classes for their preschool. They each go for 3 hours a day. So I dropped David off from 9 to 12 and I asked Jack what he wants to do, and then dropped Jack off from 12 to 3 and asked David what he wants to do. Weekends are actually pretty fun too, because my husband will take one and then I'll take the other. And even last night, I just wanted to rest and hang out. So Jack wanted to play dolls with me. I played with him in our room. My husband was up in the office doing some work with my son, and he had some special time too.
Great.
So separating them has been really, really good. And that was from recommendation of you and following your guidance. And it's been life-changing. Because before it was me with the two of them all the time, and we were all losing our minds.
No, that's not good. Okay, good. This is good. This is good. So that's an incredible connection piece. Special time is so lovely. I can't emphasize to anyone who's listening this, if you're not doing special time, please, please, please consider doing it. I know it sounds lame and dumb and boring, and I'm with my kid all the time, but there's something different about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's something very connective about it. Another piece that you're going to be adding in when you do this sibling stuff is the empathy.
Okay.
So empathy is another huge pillar to connective parenting. So while you're talking to the kids when they're having these upsets and you're giving them empathy, you're forming connection.
Oh,
because you're seeing them, you're hearing them, you're understanding them, you're on their side. You're not against them. You're not judging them. You're not there to be the referee. You're just there to be empathic.
Okay.
And empathy is a huge connective property in connective parenting.
Great.
Now you can use this empathy for all kinds of things, like when they don't get, something they want, for instance, they don't get the chocolate ice cream. They really wanted chocolate and there was only vanilla and they had to have vanilla, and now they're mad and they throw the vanilla on the floor and they're not going to have it. And instead of us reasoning or telling them why you'll have chocolate next time, or trying to fix it, we can just deeply go to empathy. Oh, you wanted, I know you wanted the chocolate. It's such a bummer. You had to have the vanilla. I get it. And many people, I just was watching YouTube today because I was like, I ran out of parenting ideas, to be really honest, for my solo podcast. And I was looking on YouTube and I was like, what's popular in parenting? And I came across this video that said, gentle parenting doesn't work. And I was like, oh, I got to watch this. Mm-hmm. And this woman came on and she's got millions of views. And she says, having empathy for a child that's having a meltdown doesn't work. So I was thinking, but she's right in her own thought process, because she believes that what gentle parenting or connective parenting is telling people is that if you have empathy, it will make the feelings stop.
Oh.
And so I think that's been a really missed opportunity for connection for folks.
Yeah.
And the expectation is wrong. So knowing and also for the kids that are fighting, knowing that if they carry on, or if they're throwing this big tantrum on the floor because of the chocolate ice cream and you're giving the empathy and the feelings aren't stopping, it doesn't mean it's not working.
That's such a good point.
You're just allowing them to have the space to have the feelings for as long as they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're just there to bear witness. So with the empathy and the special time, now you're double dutying connection, right?
Okay.
Because there's 5 tools of connection, and it's really important that we try to use all of them if we can. These 2, I think, are the most important ones. Well, there's also setting limits is really important. Actually, they're all important. But pretty soon, if you're using all the pieces, then you're like making big connections all day long.
That's great.
Yeah. Okay. Questions, thoughts?
I don't think I really have any questions about it. It all makes sense.
Okay, good.
And I like the idea of coming in and saying, like, gentlemen, how can we problem solve and work together? Because I often find myself like I am the referee, and I know I don't want to be the referee. So that'll be a nice thing to transition out of.
It's small, but it'll feel big, I think, for them.
Yeah.
It'll feel really good for them. Yeah. We don't know what else to do. Of course, we want to be the referee, right? That's how our whole world is set up, to find the villain, to prosecute them, put them in front of a jury, like the whole judicial system, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But we don't need to have that in our home. They can figure that out later in life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. Oh,
okay,
Miriam, thank you so much.
Of course. This was so lovely. Thank you for letting me wax on and keep talking the whole time. I appreciate it.
Yeah. No, you're a wise woman.
Oh, I don't know.
We'll soak it up.
Experience.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining me on the Peace and Parenting podcast, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey there, Peace and Parenting family. If you love the podcast but wish to enjoy it without interruptions, your wish has come true. Introducing the ad-free version of the Peace and Parenting podcast, available exclusively on Apple Podcast. As a subscriber, you'll get all the heartfelt advice, parenting stories, and actionable tips you love without any ads. For less than the cost of a coffee each month, you will enjoy uninterrupted listening while also supporting our work to help you build stronger connections with your kids. Try it out for free. Simply find Peace and Parenting on Apple Podcasts, click Try Free, and you'll gain immediate access to our ad-free episodes. There's no commitment and you can cancel anytime. So if you're ready for a more peaceful, uninterrupted listening experience, subscribe now. Let's keep focusing on connection without the distractions.